The truth behind this video.
Oh my God! Anakin! Anakin, talk.
Yeah, this video is real and cute, and the story behind it is a lot less cute. First things first, that is a beluga whale, and they're pretty much everything we thought dolphins were. Cute, friendly, not on the list with Weinstein. They're also incredibly intelligent, and one beluga started getting clout after people noticed that he was a little too comfortable around people. The beluga, who they named Vladimir, with an H, instead of being shy and avoiding people like usual, he would actually seek them out and even let them feed, pet, and take selfies with him. And as you can see here, he even returned a phone after a woman dropped it in the water. And that wasn't even the only time Vlad would go viral for something like that. There was another instance where he was recorded returning a guy's dropped GoPro. Y'all can't tell me he didn't just wave at that man. And a couple months after that, he was seen playing fetch with a rugby ball. But this wasn't just Vlad being cute, there's a good chance he was trained to do all this. We now believe that Vladimir the Beluga was actually a spy trained by the Russian government, and no, I am not kidding. And we say that because he was first found wearing a camera harness. Russians obviously denied it, but the harness literally said property of St. Petersburg on it, so you're not beating those allegations. But yeah, TLDR. Spy whale escapes Russian Navy, travels to Norway, becomes a local and then worldwide celebrity, the more you know. Let's talk about one of the most brutal stories of revenge you'll ever hear. Let me set the scene. Christmas 2007 at the San Francisco Zoo. Three men who may or may not have been under the influence of booze and that sweet lady Mary Jane decided that out of all the things they could ask for, they wanted a life lesson for Christmas. These men had been taunting a bunch of zoo animals, allegedly even launching pine cones at one of them with a slingshot. Yeah, two problems with that. One, that animal was a tiger. And two, tigers are one of the worst go around and find out animals in nature. For reference, once upon a time a tiger was crippled by a hunter, and that same tiger went on to murk and destroy about 436 humans. This tiger was 14-year-old Tatiana, and the only thing separating her from her harassers was an 18-foot wall and motivation. Except the zoo made an oopsie. Instead of 18 feet, the wall was just under 13. Yeah, pretty big oopsie. And just like that, the wall wasn't an obstacle and the men were all the motivation. And you know how the story goes. Tatiana cleared the fence and immediately went after the three men. Tiger carnage followed, and by the time it was all over, two men had been severely mauled. The one man passed his tense, and with literally no other options, armed officials were forced to Harambe Tatiana. Now, I'd feel bad for the survivors if they didn't sue the zoo and get paid $900,000, because if you're young and stupid in the right place, there's a bag waiting for you somewhere. The moral of this story, there's a 1 in 3 chance it's a body bag. Let's talk about the animal that is the mascot for Identity Crisis. The sun bear looks like nature tried redrawing bears strictly from memory and with its left hand. They have a foot-long fruit roll above a tongue to slurp ants into the afterlife. It gets weirder the longer you look at it. It's the smallest of all the bears and the most arboreal, meaning it spends more of its life in the trees than anything else that calls itself a bear. That's assuming they even identify as one, because I swear they look more like someone cosplaying as a bear than an actual one. And the fact that this isn't even a dog, it's an overly committed Japanese man in a costume, makes me believe even less in the sun bear. And this is a guy pulling up to the same cookout as polar bears and grizzlies. That don't even sound right. I'd also like to take this time to point out that's what its paw looks like. I don't know what it is, but something about this don't sit right with me. At about 80 to 100 pounds, this is the only bear that's regularly in a lower weight class than a human. But don't go thinking they some light work. They also have one of the strongest bite forces relative to body size of any bear, and considering they steal most of their meal prep from anteaters, I have no idea why. They're also smart. One sun bear saw sugar being locked in a drawer and then used one of its claws to open it. They're also able to read and mimic facial expressions like gorillas, orangutans, and us. Honestly, they're pretty cool. But I'm pretty sure every skinwalker story can be traced back to a decaf bear trying to act normal. He's trying so hard and it's just not working. Friendly reminder that there are dog murking seagulls all over the UK, and that's not even an exaggeration. In 2019, a seagull snatched a chihuahua named Gizmo and took it on a flight with no return trip. In 2015, a Yorkie got jumped by a gang of gulls and got injured so badly that vets had to mercy murk him. I'm obviously not going to show the picture, but there was even one story where a dog went missing and a couple days later, a seagull dropped what looked like to be a dog's paw near the owner's house. And it's not just dogs that catch the smoke, they'll run fades with people too. One seagull caught a body after the wing op swooped a man and caused him to have a heart attack. Now you're probably thinking, there's about a 0% chance that a poolside pigeon can down an entire dog. Just remember that birds are dinosaurs and they've evolved some stuff since T-Rex times, and the gag reflex is not one of them. They've also packed up sheep. They've been known to attack baby right whales when they surface and eat the literal fat off their back. They'll drown and eat other birds, I've seen them do it. And they'll even gouge the eyes out of baby seals, eat them, and continue to feed on the now blinded baby. Satan has a pet canary and he seasoned the United Kingdom with it.
This is why you never paddleboard out in the ocean.
And there you have it, reason 4,269, I'd ride cross country on a bike with no seat, pause, before I'd go out into the open ocean. That is a nope of the highest order. Those are South American sea nettles, a species of jellyfish that can have a bell, you know, that umbrella looking part, more than 3 feet across, to go with tentacles that can range anywhere from 3 to 10 feet long. And I don't think I even really need to tell you, but yeah, touching one of those can be really bad for your health. They use venom to paralyze prey, but it can also cause excruciating pain and a really bad rash if you get stung. And if you think that's bad, I got something even worse. This is what a jellyfish pool party in Peru looks like the devil's bubble bath. And guess what? This kind of thing, it's only gonna get worse. Because whether you want to believe in climate change or not, the more the Earth's thermostat gets turned up, the more the jellyfish start turning up on us. Since unlike most of the effery in the ocean, jellyfish actually do better in warmer waters with less oxygen. Especially since climate change means more CO2 means more algae blooms, and guess what likes to eat algae? And you don't have to be in the water to get rocked by jellyfish. There have been times where jellyfish swarms got so bad they dead for real caused power outages because they managed to clog the pipes of power plants. Now go ahead and add the fact that some jellyfish can spawn 45,000 eggs a day, especially if we're actively murking the things that eat them. Just another reason to save the turtles. You've heard of raining cats and dogs. Well, somewhere in the world, it might be raining worms. People in, I'm so sorry if I butcher this, Liaoning in China were advised to seek shelter and not go outside. The reason, because apparently in the Chinese province, worms started falling from the sky by the thousands, covering virtually everything in sight, and apparently not all the worms were dead. And people don't really know for sure why this is happening. Some say it's a hoax. Others say they're not even worms but flowers from the poplar tree, and that's probably the most safe for mental health explanation you're gonna get. And some even say it's nature pre-gaming before it hits backspace on all of humanity. Or it could just be this guy. This ain't even the first time this kind of thing has gone down. In 2018, Jingdao in China got hit with raining starfish, shellfish, and even octopus. In 2005, a small town in Serbia had thousands of frogs fall out the sky. And in Honduras, they have Lluvia de peces, which means every once in a while it rains fish, and it happens so often that at this point they just accept it as a fact of life. And so far the best answer we have for nature airdropping seafood is that sometimes intense storms can cause water spouts that can pick up and carry animals for miles. And apparently these water spouts get crazy mileage, because there's even a time when an Australian village got fish rain while literally being hundreds of miles from the coast. So that could just be what's happening here. Either that or Earth didn't get renewed and this finna be our last season. Friendly reminder that no matter how bad your spice life might be, it'll never be worse than this right here. You see, female hyenas, they have a damn. Yeah, I don't think there's really a good way to say it, so I'm just gonna show it. That's a girl. Female hyenas have you know what, I'm just gonna call it a clitoris. They have a clitoris. They have a clitoris that's so big that, well, you can't really tell the difference between a female and a male with the real thing. The upside is, it's physically impossible for a male to do the do without the female also wanting to, so mating happens when, where, and with who the female wants. The downside is, the process is a lot like reversing a Jeep into a tight parking spot blind with no backup camera. The only thing worse than that is the fact that they gotta give birth through that thing. Oh yeah, cross your legs, it's as painful as you think. The process involves the cup tearing through the whatever I called it, and not only can it flatline first-time mothers, some like 60% of firstborns get life deprived because they suffocate on the way out. But yeah, imagine taking life and giving birth through your meat hose. Then pray you don't get reincarnated as the op of Lion King.
Giant spiders found at the bottom of the ocean.
See, now you thought I was kidding about sea spiders. That was foolish of you. Remember how I lied and said these were sea spiders and they just turned out to be expired aloe vera plants? Meet your new paralysis demon, the Antarctic sea spider. Minor fun fact, sea spiders can be found all over, but most of them are too small to even be worth stressing about. The Southside sea spider can be the size of a dinner plate. For reference, this is a European sea spider. Now here's a European sea spider being lil broed by an Antarctic antichrist. That was not a joke, they're found at the seafloor up to 13,000 feet down, meaning their address is closer to Satan's receding hairline than to any human. But if you ever catch yourself in a fade with a face hugger, pro tip, most of their vital organs, i.e. the ones that matter, are in their legs. They have a proboscis. That's a proboscis. They use that to pretty much suck the life essence out of soft prey like sponges, worms, jellyfish, you know, light work like that. Now, I gotta be honest, because I did lie to you again. Despite the name on its government, sea spiders aren't actual true spiders. They're just arthropods, and like a comment I saw said, calling a sea spider would be kind of like calling a seahorse a horse. If they could talk, they'd be offended. Whether or not that makes this any better, that is up to you.
Oh my god. Are you recording with him? He's right next to us.
5 Australians have captured some of the rarest footage you're ever likely to see.
I don't think y'all understand. This is like the same energy as that intern that discovered a whole planet on his 3rd day. I just know that was the quietest drive home of his supervisor's life. You ever have a day that mollywops you so bad you just white knuckle both hands on the wheel, no music, no sound? Just thinking about life and how you managed to get it this bad down. I don't know who was in charge of him, but he definitely didn't touch food for the next 3 days. This is a pygmy right whale, and we dead for real thought they went extinct until about like 10 years ago. We don't know that much about them because like the female G-spot, the best minds in the world couldn't find it, to the point where we didn't even know if it existed. There's a scientist out there that spent years of schooling, even more years of fieldwork, and a mountain of student debt trying to find this thing just for this whale to find them on his day off. Also, the pygmy right is part of the family of whales that had to deal with the megalodon, so these people literally swam with a living fossil. They're also the chihuahuas of whales. They're baleen, meaning they're part of the group that includes humpbacks and blue whales. But while blue whales have the girth to humble a ship, the pygmy right peaks out at about 20 feet. It might not seem like a big deal if you're not like into that kind of thing. You might never in your life see another video like this, so the more you know, and best of luck to them.